If you've dipped your toe into the world of guitar wireless kits before, you'll probably have used something like this. Plug the transmitter into your guitar, the receiver into your pedalboard or amp, and enjoy cable-free guitar playing. Now, these are great to mess around with at home or even at small pub shows. They'll do a fantastic job without signal dropouts or any perceivable latency. I've used these kind of kits at local shows myself, but they're still far from a professional wireless solution. If you're at the level of touring with your band, playing venues all across the country and summer festival dates, you're probably looking for something a little more advanced than what these basic plugs can provide. I've been playing around with the NUX B-8 wireless system, which provides a host of additional features that makes ditching cables for your next tour so much easier. The first thing to notice is that we're no longer using the plug format, which dangles off the guitars like an unsightly growth. The transmitter of the B8 mounts to the guitar strap and connects to the guitar with a short cable which screw locks onto the transmitter. The power button pulls double duty as a mute function, so you can have everything powered up and ready to go without transmitting any signal, and you can enable and disable cable tone to emulate the capacitive high-end roll-off that cables provide. The transmitter pairs wirelessly to the receiver unit, which is in this robust pedal format with a bright LCD screen, delivering you a visual readout of signal level, connection strength, and the battery power remaining in the transmitter. Since they went to all the effort implementing this lovely screen, NUX have decided to make full use of it by adding secondary functionality with the foot switch. The receiver unit can be configured to activate either a built-in tuner or a clean boost, which should alleviate some of the complaints that this receiver will take up space on your pedal board. It also has some impressive routing options. It's not just an output we have from this receiver. There's also a send-return loop and an XLR line out. This allows you to loop in your whole pedal board if you like and send the sounds of your effects out to the mixing desk or to a recorder via XLR. There is even an input connection which allows a cable to be used from the guitar instead of the transmitter should you wish. That's perfect for an emergency situation if the transmitter dies for any reason, meaning you can get back to playing in seconds without having to pull the receiver out of your pedal board and reconfigure all the wiring. An essential feature considering how integrated this could be with the XLR out and the pedal loop. When it comes time to charge the transmitter, it can be docked with the receiver and charges from the 9-volt supply that's feeding the base unit. Say goodbye to having to fuss with any tiny short micro USB cables. The receiver powers from standard center negative 9 volts, so while it does come with its own power supply in the box, it can also be powered from any sufficiently juicy pedal power supply like NUX's Zeus. You can also install custom launch graphics onto the receiver. It was a lovely surprise to see my own face flash up on the screen when I first plugged this in. NUX, are you trying to stroke my ego in order for me to look more favourably upon your products? Because you know fine well that only cold hard cash can do that. If you're interested in the nerd shit, this transmits on the 2.4 GHz band at 24-bit, 48 kHz. More than adequate to represent all of the detail an electric guitar signal can just about manage to spit out. Latency is as low as 2.5 milliseconds at peak performance, and that's as good as instantaneous as far as your auditory cortex is concerned. It will take your brain longer to process the sound you just heard than any latency you'll get from this. And it's got an operation range of up to 50 meters line of sight. As long as you don't block the transmission path, you'll have a good 160 feet radius to play in. Now, considering that range, demonstrating this in my tiny home studio just doesn't seem like I'm using it to its full potential. So I'm going to do something that's quite uncharacteristic for me. Leave the house. I enlisted the help of my good friend Scoosh to hire the closest and cheapest venue we could find to film in, giving me the opportunity to run around a decent-sized hall doing my worst Angus Young impression. Once we'd established the shots we wanted to get, and Scoosh had familiarised himself with our DIY skateboard dolly arrangement, we took a few passes at the final performance, improvising to a riff pre-recorded on the Boss looper.
Just jump up for that one, I couldn't. That was really good, but that was really good. Especially the second time you went round that. Yeah.
I was using the Zoom F6 field recorder to capture multiple audio sources, including the XLR feed from the NUX wireless receiver. Since I had nothing in the loop, this output the DI signal from the pickups, allowing me to reamp the raw guitar sound later to achieve a more studio quality version of the live performance and mix back in some of the room mic captured on the day in the hall to get some authentic reverb. So what I've ended up with here is a much better sounding, fully produced version of what was performed on the day, transmitted by the NUX B-8 Wireless.
Let's get one go. Sweet.
Now, I understand that my uninspired caveman pentatonic whittling doesn't exactly constitute the world's greatest rock guitar performance, but that's not what we're here to examine. This was an exploration of how seamlessly the B8 Wireless would integrate with a live performance, and I can think of no better praise to give it than to confess that after a while, I entirely forgot it was there. With the transmitter positioned on the strap, it's well out of the way of the playing surface of the instrument. Reaching down for the guitar's controls, there was no awkward bulky plug sticking out, and the quality of the sound was indistinguishable from using a cable. There were no signal dropouts at any point, and the freedom of motion meant I could focus my complete attention on playing and performing, and not once did I have to consider my legs getting tangled or suddenly finding myself at the end of my cable's tether. The tuning function meant I could keep my guitar in tune between takes, and upon reviewing the recorded audio feeds, the DI out from the receiver was functionally identical to equivalent DI takes of the same guitar recorded through my audio interface. So I'm going to give this one a gold star. It does exactly what it says on the tin. I encountered no issues in my time using it, and I'd be happy to trust this one on my pedal board during a live performance on a larger stage. Its additional feature set makes it a very attractive option for live recording sessions that require a degree of movement that cables typically wouldn't provide. If you want to find out more about it, or get one for yourself, you'll find purchase links in the description of this video. That's all for now. Keep it loud and stay safe.